Cubase comes with several virtual instruments called VST Instruments, and you can access them by going to the Media tab, hitting the Home button, and then clicking on the VST Instruments button. Now, I've got a whole bunch of Steinberg-branded and third-party plugins installed, so don't worry if you're not seeing as many virtual instruments as you see here. But let's go over some that you will have, starting with Groove Agent SE, which is a virtual drum machine. If I click and drag that icon over onto my first track of this empty project, then it will load that virtual instrument onto an instrument track. And Groove Agent has two basic modes. There are patterns and instruments. So let's load a patch that has both patterns and sounds in it by right or control clicking on the Beat agent here, and then choosing Load Kit with Patterns. Then I'll get a browser. I'm just going to grab the browser and drag it over here so we can see it. And then let's go into the pop category and into the 80s pop category. We've got two different kits here. Let's double click on Electro Pop Kit number 1. That will load the sounds and the patterns in there. Right now we're in instrument mode, so if we click on a pad, then we'll hear the sounds. And the higher you click on the pad, the higher the velocity of the strike. Since the track that we just created is record enabled, we could also play these sounds by playing on the lower range of a MIDI keyboard. And you can certainly record your own drum parts from MIDI, but you can also go into the pattern mode and then click on any of these pads that have patterns assigned to them. When you click and hold on a pattern, you'll hear the entire pattern. And if you wanted to use any of those patterns in a project, it's just a matter of clicking and dragging them onto the track. And you can put as many of those beats as you want in a row on that track, and they'll play in that sequence. Then let's look at Halion Sonic SE. So I'll close Groove Agent and come over to the Synth category, and then look for Halion Sonic SE, and I'll just drag that over onto our second track. That will reveal the Halion Sonic SE control panel, and you'll see that it has a browser built right into the front panel. So if you wanted to add a bass sound, let's go to bass, and maybe electric bass, and a clean sound. Let's double click on Electric Bass VX right here. That will load that sound into the first slot of Halion Sonic SE, and now you can play that sound from your MIDI keyboard. And Halion Sonic can hold up to 16 different sounds per instance of the plugin. So let's go to slot number 2, hit the reset button, and then look for brass sounds like a sectional brass. Let's go with the rich brass section. And now that that sound is loaded into slot number 2, we'll need to add a MIDI track to play it. So let's right or control click in the track list here, choose Add MIDI Track. I'm going to just call this one Brass. And then let's assign its MIDI output to Halion Sonic SE on MIDI channel number 2. MIDI channel number 2 corresponds to slot number 2. So now when we play our keyboard, we'll hear the brass sound. Most of Halion Sonic's sounds are related to real instruments like brass, strings, choir, drums, pianos, and so forth, but there's a whole bunch of different sounds in here. However, if you are looking for something more specific like an analog synthesizer, then let's call up Retrolog. I'll drag that onto another empty track here because it's a virtual analog synthesizer. So let's open the preset window here, and we'll reveal our browser. Let's go to Synth Pads and Analog, and then we can choose from any of these sounds. If we single click on one, then we can audition it from our MIDI keyboard. Or if we're looking for lead sounds, we can go to Synth Lead, and then there's a whole bunch of varieties here too. Or if you're looking for something a little bit more multi-textural, that's what Pad Shop is for. So let's scroll to the synth category and drag in Pad Shop onto another track. And then let's go to the browser and choose some different sounds. Let's go to Synth Pad and then call up the Airy Bells. Or the Ambient Awakening. So make sure to spend some time with all of those VST instruments because there are a whole bunch of different sounds that you can find regardless of the genre of music that you're interested in. And next, let's talk about using the manual and the online help.